Hello and a very good evening to you from the Mongkok Stadium. We're here for the AFC Cup 2014, the knockout stages. It's the second leg quarterfinal match between Kitchee and XM Visai Ninh Binh of Vietnam, better known as Ninh Binh. My name's Shazad Haq. Here with me to take us through the action as well is PJ Roberts. And PJ, these are two teams that have shown throughout this tournament they do love to score goals and play good football.
Well, both teams play very entertaining football, Shazad, as you mentioned there. I've really enjoyed commentating on these games because generally we are in for goals and we're in for an entertaining match. Kitchee, well, what a record they've had, and looking to become the first side from Hong Kong to reach the semi-finals since South China qualified for the same stage in 2009. Well, it was a bit surprising for Ninh Binh. Actually, they came into that first leg game in awesome form, being the only unbeaten record in the AFC Cup this season, but they were certainly to a little lesson by Kitchee, who go into this game with a really very healthy lead.
That's right, 4-2 it ended in that first leg in Vietnam, which means the massive advantage here with the home side now. They've got the away goals, 2 away goals, and it means that Kitchee, rather Ninh Binh, have to win by a 3-goal margin today, and that's a big ask, isn't it?
It is a big ask. We know that their squad is much changed, a number of new players. It is difficult for them to settle, and it was a shame that the changing of their squad happened when it did, because they were looking really impressive. But for Kitchee, take nothing away from the quality of their squad and the quality of their performance. They have been really entertaining. They've got a good solid structure and discipline to their team, a very well balanced outfit. And what we do enjoy about them, Shazad, is they do score goals.
There's a very strong Spanish influence in this side, and that's dated back a few years now. They've had a couple of coaches who've been in the Barcelona setup in the past and now led by Jose Molina. More on him in just a short while, but it's that real, it's that style of football that's really caught the eye, hasn't it?
It has. You've got to have a really nice balance of both foreign players and domestic players. We know that in leagues, particularly around Southeast Asia, so for example, there's a certain number of foreigners allowed, and mixing that with the domestic players. But it's so important for those foreign players to assimilate and adapt to the culture, adapt to the team discipline, the approach, and really drive that camaraderie throughout the team. And Kitchee has done that remarkably. I know that Geordie's just settled. He's been a different class. Belancoso scoring goals for fun. Nande at the back has always been solid. So a good, solid spine to this team, added with some good quality domestic players, and they are a very impressive outfit.
Yes, they have been scoring goals in abundance. Belancoso with 10 goals so far. He's the leading scorer in this tournament. There they are, and as you said, PJ, very rightly so, they've shared the goals with the local players. Ng Lung Phúc and Shu De Shuai were also on target in that first leg. There's the lineup for you, Kitchee, and the man to watch out for, number 9, Juan Belancoso, with 10 goals, as we said. He is the danger man. The one bit of news for Kitchee, they will be without forward Huan Young due to suspension after he received a yellow card in the first leg. The only person to receive a yellow card in the knockout stages for Kitchee. Referees, by the way, from the United Arab Emirates, Amar Ali Abdullah, along with Zayed Dawood and Jeffrey Goh from Singapore. Teams will change sides. Let's have a look at the lineup for Ninh Binh. It's a big change for this side. 6 players made the AFC Cup debut for the club in that first leg against Kitchee, including Liberian defender Alex Carno and Nigerian forwards Ifeanyi Uwanaka and Suleiman Aladoja, who scored a goal. But it can't be easy, can it, PJ, to have to redo everything? Basically a reset, isn't it?
It is frustrating, it's disappointing, and very difficult to do for new players, and not only 1 or 2 players. That can be difficult on occasions, given the fact that they need to settle into the overall system of play. But with so many players, it is very difficult, and they're up against it tonight. Ninh Binh. Kitchee are definitely the favourites. They are in the driving seat, given the lead, given the quality that they have, but they've got nothing to lose.
Well, they can draw inspiration from Southeast Asian neighbours Persipura Jayapura, who went all the way to Kuwait SC and were unlucky to lose 3-2. It was a fantastic game of football, really a great advertisement for the AFC Cup, and they turned it around in style back in Indonesia, won 6-1, 8-4 in aggregate.
Unbelievable. Entertaining games in the AFC Cup. Thoroughly enjoyed commentating on these games. Obviously, the AFC Cup being the second-tier cup competition for clubs in the region, the Asian Champions League being the pinnacle. But the AFC Cup is so important for these developing football nations. It gives these club teams the opportunity to play in a highly professional regional tournament. And Shazad, we have seen some excellent football, some really awesome individual skills, some cracking goals, but I think we've really enjoyed just the overall enthusiasm and proactive approach that each team takes to the play. They don't want to sit back and just absorb and be defensive. They want to go forward and score goals.
Absolutely right, and it's the style, I think, that's really caught the eye, as we said, and also good from our part of the world, in East Asia, that some of the clubs now are beginning to make inroads into this competition. When you look at the finalists for the last, 10 years, it's been all West Asian sides. It's amazing. In the AFC Cup, they completely dominate this competition.
It is. It is. Giving these clubs the opportunity, it really is so important. The club players, then they step into their respective national teams. They take that to the national team stage. It is critically important to have a pathway to success for these clubs and these players. It's just good for football overall.
Yeah, that's a fantastic result for Persipura as well, to beat the two-time defending champion Kuwait SC in such emphatic style. And you're going to get at least Persipura in and one more side here at least. So it's just boding well for East Asia in this competition. And as we know, AFC Champions League, which of course you can watch on this network as well, East Asia do dominate that competition. So it's interesting to see how different competitions dominated by different parts of Asia now. Belencoso, he's a big unit, and just having a few words with Pham Van Kui.
A little bit, slightly over-exaggerated. Belencoso maybe being a little bit cheeky.
They are a big physical side, the kitchee. It will be countered by the pace of this Vietnamese team, Linh Binh. Good crowd in, and it certainly seems that they have caught the imagination of the Hong Kong people. Good to see.
It is great to see. It's a cracking little stadium, actually. A nice side when it's a full house. They really are vocal, very supportive. Bangkok Stadium, we've seen this field in some pretty difficult situations, almost underwater on a couple of occasions.
You and I saw a game here, I think it was a monsoon shower, and it wasn't good, and it didn't help the kind of style that we love to see from Kitchee.
The game started late, and it was pretty difficult for both teams. There was an issue with the referee on one occasion, an issue with the lights on another occasion, but the playing surface just looks absolutely fantastic at the moment. It's a sort of evening as a player you just relish. It's beautiful weather, the pitch is in good condition, it's a knockout competition, everything on the line, there's a good crowd, good atmosphere.
So far, little of note in terms of chances in these opening minutes. Quarter-final leg in which Linh Binh have to take the initiative, take the game to the opposition, because they need that massive win today. So far, some errant passes, particularly down that right-hand side. Plenty of the team wearing the jersey as well. That's always good to see. Cheering the Linh Binh players as they try to retain possession. Having to come pretty deep here, Suleiman Oladoja.
And that's good defending from Kitchee. Just defending along the line at the top of that centre circle. But as soon as Linh Binh step into that area, being closed down very, very quickly. They're a very athletic side, Kitchee. They do play a nice high-intensity pressing game when they feel the occasion is right. Really good work ethic to their team.
Nice bit of noise as well coming from the crowd, trying to get their players all G'd up for this game. good work from the forwards. They've really had to come back and help out. Ruanaka and Suleiman. That's because Kitchee are so good at keeping hold of this ball. I think the great thing about Kitchee, as we've seen, PJ, apart from a couple of blips, is not only do they score goals, but they tend to keep a lot of clean sheets. They've only conceded twice in this competition so far.
Phenomenal. Excellent defensive record. I mean, in many ways, we obviously praise about their ability going forward and the quality that they do have in that attacking half, but Jose Molina has done a remarkable job with them. I know that successful teams really are, first and foremost, built on defence. On the rare occasion it's built on attack, but generally it's built with a very solid defence, and what that does do is it provides that really solid platform. You know, if you don't concede, when you're not chasing the game, you keep it tight defensively, and then it gives you that ability to then start to express yourself. Well, that man right there, Bansai, he's had a difficult couple of months with his team. You feel for him in many ways, but again, you just got to get on with it.
Yes, just a little bit on the coaches there. Jose Molina is a former international goalkeeper for Spain. He enjoyed a very successful playing career that included long spells at Atletico Madrid and Deportivo La Coruña. And he's won Premier Liga and Copa del Rey titles. As they come forward there through Levantan.
Well, being a former goalkeeper, I guess it's no surprises that they're very, very solid in defence.
Yeah, he did retire as a player 7 years ago, and he coached top flight side Villarreal, so he's really had fantastic experience at the very top.
At a young age.
Very young age, absolutely right. Now, first time we've really seen Kitchee being tested here. It took everyone a little bit by surprise, and it was a scuff shot from Yendunlik. I think it caught the goalkeeper, Wan Zungpeng, a little bit by surprise there.
Well, they do have that ability, Ninh Binh, just to pounce and create chances out of absolutely nothing. Just couldn't quite get his leg out. Fairly fortunate. It was knocked out for a corner.
Good to see Ninh Binh now finally becoming a little bit more confident here.
Well, from a pure fan entertainment perspective, we'd love for him to score the first goal.
Absolutely right.
Just make it a little bit more cagey.
Yeah, it would certainly create a few nerves for Kitchee as they try to work their way out of this defence. And they've done a great job here. Here's Bellincoso. Dispossessed. Yes, just to clarify, when I said they've conceded twice, I do mean in two different games, and that was the 2-2 draw at home here in the Mongkok Stadium against Pune FC. And when they went to Naypyidaw in Myanmar. Oh, and I have to correct myself, except they also did lose to Pune in the final game of the group stages, but by then it was all academic. Otherwise, they have been superb so far.
They played some really good, solid attacking football. Lok Fung, Deshuai. Always find the back of the net. Bellincoso was spoken about.
Well, that's the keeper that perhaps took him a little bit by surprise as well. They're just beginning to show what they're capable of, Ninh Binh. Kitchee would do well not to underestimate them. Into space there, and it wasn't offside. Just applauding the ball that he got there.
Just a little bit heavy. Right idea. Just as the defence is moving out to obviously try and keep it nice and tight and get the attacking player in an offside position. Just chipping it in towards that corner flag is a great option.
It's interesting to hear Jose Molina was saying that while he felt his team performed well in the last game, he doesn't feel they're at their best. It doesn't help, of course, BJ, because they haven't played competitive football since May.
makes it really challenging. The season very much in its infancy. Obviously, they've been doing a lot of training in pre-season, but makes a big difference when you're in the middle of the season. You're used to playing the games week in, week out, just in relation to getting that rhythm and that overall momentum, making sure that tactically you've got that structure in place. It's just a little bit more raw at the beginning of the season.
We have some sympathy for Kitchee, but how about Ninh Binh? They haven't played any domestic matches since April, when they had to withdraw from the V-League due to some issues, which is why they've had to change their squad. So that's even more of a remarkable. You've got two teams who have not played anything apart from AFC Cup matches.
Exactly, Ninh Binh's only game in May, their round of 16 success over those Churchill brothers, so that it is very challenging. You can do as much training, as much pre-season training, as many friendly games as you like, until you get into those true competitive games. You can find out. You just need to look at the various leagues around the world and the form of certain teams in pre-season. You compare that to the opening few weekends of the season. It can be
very different.
Very, very different.
Yeah, you don't put much stock in these, do you, those pre-season friendlies? And is there a foul just outside the box? Well, player asking for cards. You never want to see that.
Well, it certainly did seem as though Chung Kwok Ming into ground. A little bit too easy here for me. The referee's got that wrong. That was, I said a little bit too easy. That was ridiculously too easy.
Yes, Lei Nok Nam was the man who allegedly brought him down. No card as far as we can tell, and that would have been harsh as well.
That would have been very, very harsh if he had picked up a yellow card for that. It shouldn't have been a free kick.
If they score from this, that'll create some issues. Jorge Paramo, thankfully, as far as the game is concerned, doesn't.
Exactly, justice done. We never like to see players trying to trick the referee into giving a free kick.
Well, had he scored it, it would have been probably a target too far. It would have been 5-2 on aggregate. Don't forget they've got those magical away goals as well. They had a 2-0 lead in that game against Ninh Binh. Then made it it was 2-1. They drew back 3-1 and then 3-2 before final 4-2 finish from the Hong Kongers. But they were never really in any danger. Molina having his say at the moment. There'll be a quick word with Fernando Recio, who's a real rock in defence. Not sure how good his English would be at the moment. But all coaches have the universal language of hand signals. Free kick here for Ninh Binh, swinging in. They've got the big men up there, but that's got to be frustrating. Right into the grateful hands of Wong Tung Pung.
He's very confident coming off his line, collecting the ball. It is frustrating from that delivery. Set pieces, such an important part of the game. Many of the variables are removed. Ball still, you can get your key players into certain positions, you rehearse them. A number of times at training, the delivery is absolutely crucial, and it is frustrating when you're one of those players in the box expecting the delivery to be reasonable.
Well, apart from one scuff shot, we've had no real chances for either side so far. Kitchee don't need to do anything, do they? They're just quite happy the way it is.
Well, they certainly don't need to be in a hurry to get the ball forward or to score. They do want to maintain that same intensity and build that momentum. Pick up a win here, they progress through to the next stage to maintain that same confidence, that winning mentality. And not only a winning mentality, but a good performance mentality, I think, is also very important. So I want to make sure that they do maintain that.
Chunkin Fung finding space on that right-hand side. Just too much, and I've seen it a few times now. Just slightly overhit passes.
They're not quite in their rhythm at the moment, Kitchee. Usually, particularly at home, also, we've seen them get off to a number of strong starts to the game.
And I just wonder, PJ, because we've had a lack of chances, maybe a lack of sharpness, it could well be down to the fact that they haven't played enough competitive football, both these sides.
Well, that would definitely contribute to it.
It's a nice ball down the right-hand side. This is a better move, but the cross not good enough, really, from Lo Kuan Yi.
And that was a very good opportunity. Generally, they're really quite decent in those wide areas. Jung Kwok Min, the culprit there, overhitting his cross. Decent options in the box. Player making a near post run, one to the far post.
And he's been pretty quiet so far, the goalkeeper, Tran Bu Nok. One of the few times he's actually had to touch the ball. No foul for the referee, as far as he's concerned. Pressing well here, Kitchee. Good touch there from Uwanaka. Finding it hard to get out of the area. This is what's been happening. Kitchee trying to force that error. Late challenge. This is the influence, perhaps the Spanish influence, pushing and pressing and pressing and putting that pressure on.
Well, almost won the ball. In Bin being maybe a little bit too risky at the back. Trying to move the ball quickly, just trying to probe and find that opening. Kitchee have been fairly comfortable in defence. They've been reasonably poor in attack, but in defence they've kept it very tight.
4 fouls already for Kitchee. That's a low cross in. Well, there was a feeling there could have been a foul. Plenty of pace put on that ball by Nguyen Duc Linh.
Well, decent delivery. Good build-up play, just whipping it in. Fairly unconventional in some ways. So many occasions you see the player just try and curl it in, but he's just absolutely drilled it into that near post area.
Yeah, Ola Doja felt there was a little shove on the back as he came in for that. There was no way he was getting to it. Now, I just wonder, referee has not dished out cards for a little while. Just a matter of time if it continues like this.
Van Kwai just very politely saying hello to the referee and then running back in position.
Well, despite all their possession, the best 2 chances so far have fallen to Bin Bin, but a good ball in. Keeper comes out well, Tran. Now on the counter, Ninh Bin. This is Tran Vu Quang. Plenty of pace down this right-hand side. Needed a better ball in and perhaps go further down towards the byline from Le Quoc Quang.
Well, that's exactly right. Le Quoc Quang really just needed to take the ball into the space that was in front of him.
Really nicely done by Le Van Tang. This is falling nicely for Uwanaka. No foul. They've had their moments, haven't they, really, Ninh Bin?
Oh, it's a good passage of play. It's coming out of the back, moving the ball quickly across the field. Reasonable penetration down this right-hand side. There's a good ball into the box as well. Starting to gather some momentum. Playing with plenty of confidence as well, which is great to see. They've been coming in with that loss of 4-2 they're still maintaining this sense of belief that if they get a goal back, they could really change the whole complexion of this game.
Tran again tries to find Suleiman Ordawaja, and that is a free kick. Right down the middle. Nguyen Duc Lin also asking the referee to punish for the foul. They are getting stretched a little bit at the back here.
Well, it's actually very, very well done. Just a clumsy foul. Lo Kwan Wee was just drawn into that foul by Duc Lin. It was a nice piece of skill. Just to be able to shift it across his body very quickly, the ball bobbling up. It's a clever piece of skill. And a free kick in a superb position. Difficult for the keeper.
Couple of guys standing over it. Right into the wall. Got to have a better delivery than that. They do get a corner.
Well, it can at times be a little bit difficult when the ball is that close to the goal line to have the ability to get it up and over the wall and hit the target.
The easy take for the keeper, but they are the more threatening of the two sides at the moment. And that's primarily because they need the goals. Mistake, but I think they've managed to recover from it. Oh, ball to good space here. It could be a good finish. Suleiman Oladoja at the perfect height for Wan Zung Peng. Otherwise, that really ought to have been the first goal of this game.
Well, that's a cracking save. Zheng Peng doing very, very well. Suleiman, one-on-one situation. You do need to feel that he should have done better than that.
It's a nice knockdown from Belen Koso. Tran will have no problems with that cross. End-to-end stuff at the moment here at the Mongkok Stadium. This game just opening up now a little bit more. Lei Nok Gam. Uwanaka tried to reverse past that. Well, he was called into action. Wan Zung Peng did well. He has certainly been the busier of the two goalkeepers so far.
Ninh Binh definitely creating the better opportunities at the moment. Kitchee not really settling into their game. To the second stage of this first half, and it's the Vietnamese team that are actually really building some momentum.
Again, that's fantastic work from Uwanaka, who's moved on to this right-hand side. Oladoja tries to give chase and will just get a throw in for that. We had talked about his defence not being up to scratch. Jose Molina, not the finished article anyway. Did say he expected this to be a difficult game. Again, it's a good-looking ball, but it just skids off that surface. We've seen a couple of these kind of overhead passes on either side.
It's a very direct ball. To play it straight down the field, to get the correct weighting on the pass to keep it in the field of play is difficult. Here's that initial ball. It was a remarkable ball. It was perfectly weighted. Defence splitting. Suleiman had a really good first touch as well to take it in his stride and set himself up for the shot. Really should have done better. Fairly reasonable save by Zheng Peng, but it was at a good height for him. Wasn't hit with enough power.
Chances falling for Ninh Binh, rather. Look, Wan Yi, the captain of Kitchee, had said that because they had the home advantage and advantage in terms of goals, they will play to ensure they qualify for semi-finals, and they haven't stretched themselves perhaps just yet, Kitchee, but that's also credit to Ninh Binh.
I would actually suggest that it's probably more credit to Ninh Binh. They've been reasonably poor in the attacking third, Kitchee. Defensively, they've looked pretty solid, although last 5 or 10 minutes, Ninh Binh have been able to create more space going forward. But at the moment, Ninh Binh, they look like the team that is in control. In control maybe of tonight's performance, but certainly not in control of the current scoreline overall.
I suppose there's no fear here, is there, for Ninh Binh? They haven't got domestic competition to worry about. They're already a couple of goals down coming into this leg. They just have to go for it.
Very true.
Down that far side, Jordi Torres stands up the ball. No one there. And that, I'm afraid, has been the story so far for Kitchee. Even Lo Kuan Yew had said that he didn't feel that they had played their best, even though they were satisfied with the result in the first leg, and that they were able to take advantage of their opponent's mistakes. And he too said that the defence is still weak and they need to improve it. So they know what the problems are. That's offside, there's no doubt about that one.
It was a lovely diagonal ball. That's the ball that is going to make it really difficult for Ninh Binh. They're playing a fairly high line on occasion. They're very square at the back where they're pressing forward, keeping in touch with the midfield, making it very compact. That diagonal ball is the perfect ball to basically try and get in behind them.
This is the man with the delivery earlier, Tran Van Quang. They almost set up the first goal. It's a good-looking ball and a great save, but there's still a chance here to make it. The first goal, and they do get it. Third time lucky. And it's the man who scored in the first leg, Suleiman Oladoja, who opens the scoring, and it is deserved, PJ.
Thoroughly deserved. Suleiman, right place, right time. A little bit fortunate, Kitchee scrambling in defence. Ricochet off a player, then the post. And Suleiman just in this very central area. But they deserve this goal. They've had really good momentum, good chances. And Kitchee found out. It makes this game very, very interesting now with that deficit slightly reduced. And all the momentum with Ninh Binh. And they thoroughly deserve this goal.
Le Van Tang with the first shot, Nguyen Duc Lin with the follow-up, and it was Suleiman who tapped in for the first goal here. It's a vital goal, it's an away goal, and it means on aggregate now it's 4-3. One more goal. We're all square, but of course don't forget the away goals. So crucial here. This makes such a big difference, doesn't it?
Well, it's absolutely crucial for Ninh Binh that they do not concede. Give themselves any opportunity. Plenty of time to go in this half. Keep a clean sheet and maybe even nick another goal before half-time. That would make this game fascinating.
We must stress, of course, purely from an entertainment and a neutral point of view, that just want to see the team that's coming into this with the deficit really push Kitchee, right, and make a real game of it. And to be fair to Ninh Binh, they have.
They've given themselves every opportunity to force their way back into this game.
They're certainly getting stretched at the back, and we talked about that defence, the defensive woes. There's a man who leads the line at the back, Fernando Recio. It's a corner here that, again, could cause problems. ability at the moment to clear their lines. The referee though spotting a handball. And when you're asking a referee to take action on little infringements like that, it just show a bit of frustration.
Yes, just get on with it, lads. I don't think I've ever seen a referee change their mind when players are demonstrating with them.
It was good link-up play, and frustration beginning to boil over here. And it's the first yellow card of the game. It's been a while coming. I think it's Chung Kwok Ming who's got the first booking then.
Well, he's a fairly tough and rugged defensive player. Also playing midfield. Can play at the back. Certainly a frustrating challenge.
Well, he has been a threat, Tran Van Kwong, and he perhaps being a little ambitious there. But it's all about Ninh Binh at the moment. I haven't seen Kitchee this outplayed so far in the tournament.
It's a very, very surprising performance. You would expect them with this 4-2 lead to be playing with so much confidence and really exuberant approach to their play.
Is it overconfidence, PJ?
Well, basically it seems as though they're being a little bit too conservative. Just thinking that happy to keep a clean sheet and keep the game goalless and just maybe snatch one going forward, but they've offered very, very little going forward.
Sim Wood sub with the foul here on the man who got the yellow card earlier, Chung. Lin Van Sai, the Ninh Binh coach, had said they only had a week to prepare on that first leg and they wanted to focus on correcting their mistakes in the last game. So far, so good. Well, a loose ball. Half a chance there. Song Chi Hao. Tran again. That ball that's causing problems. Ola Doja testing that shaky defence. He's hurt himself in the process. Right on the ankle. A little tap there.
Seems to be a little bit of concern. Just landing a little bit awkwardly. Very innocuous in the way they did hurt his ankle. He's looked dangerous up top. Good mobility, good pace. He's been the beneficiary of some very good through balls as well.
Baiting the crowd a little bit there. Bit of gamesmanship from Suleiman Ola Doja. He won't mind that, the reaction to him. He'll feed off it. And he has a last laugh at the moment because he scored the goal. Sim Wood Sub, the captain for Ninh Binh, had said that because they were a young team, they did make some mistakes last week. He does believe in them. They would look to reduce those mistakes and give their all, and they certainly have done that tonight. Come on, come on. You may have just heard that from Jose Molina. Can't be happy with what he's seen so far. Around there with the touch. He's been a constant threat down this right-hand side. to the far post. That's Nguyen Duc Linh. Nando Recio. Not the best of pass from Nando. Le Van Tan is perhaps interfering a little too much, because the card was about to be given anyway to Liang Luk Fung. Didn't have to get involved.
Oh, it's a very frustrating card. Le Van Tan. So he just reacts. Just a clumsy challenge, more so than anything. Doesn't warrant a yellow card for me.
A little too chatty. Le Van Tan with the card.
The referee's very no nonsense in that regard.
Ambitious. Simon Sub thinking he could score from that distance, but there is a little bit of confidence in the side at the moment.
Certainly is. Really enjoying their performance. They want to maintain that same self-belief for the entire match. If they can basically sneak another goal back, it'll make it absolutely fascinating, this fixture. Will make Kitchee, particularly with their approach, they'll be a little bit more cautious.
Well, interestingly, PJ, they don't have a single out-and-out forward on the bench. You'd say that Jose Mourinho would want them to go out and be more positive in the second half, wouldn't he?
Well, you'd be looking at the clock at the moment, just waiting for half-time to occur, and he can get his troops back into the change sheds and provide some feedback.
There's a real determination about this Ninh side at the moment. They're scrapping for the ball. There's no doubt that Kitchee are getting stretched. Ola Doja doesn't quite get there. Here's Trong. Remember that last match against Kitchee was their first ever defeat in the AFC Cup for Ninh Binh. This is their first competition, and for a debutant team, they certainly impressed. With 5 wins and 1 draw in the group stage, they had Yangon United of Myanmar, Hong Kong's South China. So they would have had some idea of how to take on Hong Kong teams, and they beat Malaysian giants Kelantan as well.
A couple of big results. That was a really tough group, particularly given the pedigree of the other teams in the group, what they've achieved in recent years.
Perhaps surprising, PJ, when you look at that group, you'd have thought South China and Kelantan would be the 2 standout teams to get through.
On paper.
And yet both of them eliminated in the group stages. Yeah,
exactly.
Well, some respite here for Kitchee because they have a corner. Look at the massive bodies at that near post. I think the referee is quite clearly a no-nonsense guy, as you said earlier, PJ. So these players have to react to that accordingly, don't they?
Just can't say anything to the referee.
One for the far post. Backtracking, backpedaling, goalkeeper does well. Tran Buk Nyok.
Well, that's a good delivery. Always difficult for the keeper. Just shuffling back towards that back post area, thinking that it's going to fall in. Good delivery. Expect another good delivery here. They've been starved of opportunities, Kitchee, in this game. Set piece providing them with a really good chance to get a decent shot on goal.
back to help out. Uwanaka now got the ball. The counter-attack is on. Again, he's gone for that crossfield pass, Tran Van Kwong.
Well, he had the right idea. It was actually the most difficult pass available for him. Just lacking a little bit of height on his ball in towards the middle. Suleiman was charging down on goal.
And looking for him again. Offside on the big man. He doesn't quite think so. But he is proving a real threat up there, isn't he?
He is. He's big and strong. Mobile, can hold the ball up, can play off the shoulder of the defender. It's making it really quite challenging for Nando.
Again, lovely touch from Uwanaka this time. This falls to Tran. Oh, he's just taking his time on that. And then it trickles into the goalkeeper's arms.
It was closed down very quickly. Van Kwong just needing to try and create a couple of yards of space to get a better shot on target.
Here's Bellacoso. Well, it was actually Jordi Torres with the opportunity. Little ball digged into him.
Oh, he's done well. Just his first touch didn't give him the opportunity to kill the ball and basically get the ball on the ground. Still bobbling around.
The big factor is that's about as good as it's got for Kitchee in this first half. Devoid of any real opportunities to test the goalkeeper. Oh, chance here now. It's 2-on-2. And now, Oladoja! Oh, it's come off the crossbar. What an opportunity spurned. But you've also got to give plenty of credit to Wang Zhongpeng there, who deflected out onto the crossbar.
Well, Suleiman cannot believe that that hasn't hit the back of the net. It was a decent strike, reasonable power. Excellent save by Zheng Peng. Got down to his left, very quick, got a good solid fist on it.
Well, they'll go into this break thinking they should be 2 up if they don't score again between now and the next couple of minutes, but they are really, really stretching Kitchee here. I don't think anyone would have expected quite this kind of fight.
No, many just expecting Kitchee FC just to be in absolute cruise control. But it's been completely the opposite. Ninh Binh have just taken a stranglehold on this game. They're controlling the middle of the park.
Well, Jose Molina can't wait for this half-time whistle. Try and turn things round. And look at that, dancing on the byline there. Nguyen Duc Linh hugging that touchline rather, and he's doing very, very well. Fernando and Suleiman. Suleiman's not too impressed with Fernando at the moment, but he's all smiles. He's enjoying his football.
Well, there's that earlier opportunity. Good strike aiming for that far post. You can see how solid a fist that was.
That wasn't a foul for you, was it, PJ?
Oh, it's a little bit harsh. It did seem as though he just had his arms raised when someone pushed. Seemed as though he pushed over the defender. A little bit harsh, but there's a cracking save.
Again, bisecting the defence there. Uwanaka this time. That is an excellent challenge. Prevented a goal-scoring opportunity there. But Uwanaka and Oladoja are really, making it very difficult for Kitchee at the moment.
Well, it's been an excellent final 15 minutes of this game. Ninh Binh with a couple of very good opportunities.
I'd say they have to be pretty disappointed, wouldn't you, PJ, if they go with just 1-0?
Well, given the way that this game has evolved, I would agree with you there. Well, it's 1-0. They would have taken that scoreline before the game kicked off. But look at the opportunities that they have created, and they'll be thinking, we should be 2 goals up.
It does set things up really nicely for the second half. Oh, that looked like a half chance as well. Bellancoso not connecting. Well, the referee calls time on what has been a very entertaining and perhaps one-sided first half here, with Ninh Binh taking the game to Kitchee, knowing that they need to score goals, and boy, they have come close on a number of occasions. This man here, Suleiman Oladoja, has got the first goal and almost got a second. Could have been 3, in fact, but we've certainly enjoyed this, PJ.
It's been very entertaining, surprising. Ninh Binh being so dominant in this first half, creating the better opportunities. They've controlled that midfield area. They are certainly looking the better team. Kitchee need to be very focused coming into this second half.
Well, look forward to the second half, as you said. Half-time score here at the Mongkok Stadium. Kitchee 0, Ninh Binh 1. See you after the break. Welcome back to the second half of this AFC Cup quarter-final second leg match between Kitchee and Ninh Binh. And I tell you what, Ninh Binh need a 3-goal margin victory to get through to the semi-finals of this tournament. They are a third of the way there and looking very, very good for more goals. Of course, we always know a half-time break can always change things. But it would have to be a radical change here for Kitchee, because they have been under par. There's no doubt about it. PJ Roberts watching this game with me, and you were pretty disappointed, especially with what you've seen from Kitchee early in the tournament.
I have. They've been battling. They've really battled this evening coming into this game with a really confident 4-2 win in the first leg. Being so impressive in all the group stages and knockout games up until this point. So solid defensively, a really nice, entertaining, attacking flow to their game, and they've really been dominated in this first half. Full credit to Ninh Binh, given the numerous changes to their squad and coming into this game with that 4-2 loss hanging over their head in the first leg. They've gone out with a very confident approach and really should be 2 goals up.
Let's see if Ninh Binh can overturn that deficit. It's been their 2 Nigerian forwards who have created so many issues with their strength and guile. Lots of balls bisecting the defence as well, and that's a credit as well to Tran Van Quang, who played on the right-hand side. And to a slightly lesser extent, Nguyen Duc Linh. Here's Nguyen himself now.
Well, in the centre midfield for Ninh Binh, Lee Van Tung, Lee Ngoc Nam have just absolutely controlled the middle of the park. Kitchee have had absolutely no real possession in that middle third. They haven't had any decent play, any real decent build-up play. They've lacked intensity in every single area, and Ninh Binh have really taken advantage of that. The only area where they didn't completely take advantage is on the scoreline.
Well, we already told you that Persipura Jayapura hammered Kuwait SC earlier today to make it to the semi-finals. Let's also tell you There is one other Southeast Asian representative left, and that's Hanoi TNT. They take on Erbil a little bit later on, and they lost 1-0 at home. That would be massively disappointing. And I have to travel to the Middle East to overturn that. But the winner of this game will play the winner of that matchup, Hanoi and Erbil. So in theory, we could have, incredibly, an all Southeast Asian semi-final if things work out.
That would be a great testament to the improving quality of Southeast Asian football. Very slight possibility that two Vietnamese teams as well. Ninh Binh can force their way, get a couple of goals back. Coming into this game, it really did seem highly unlikely, but the way this game has evolved, they've given themselves every opportunity.
Southeast Asian football on the rise, and don't forget we will have the AFF Suzuki Cup later in the year, November, December, on this network as well. Looking forward to that. Some of these players may well be involved.
Yes, that is a cracking tournament. I've always enjoyed commentating on games in the Suzuki Cup.
Flicked across the goal. The big man, Bellincoso, we know is capable of scoring. With his head, he's a big, big lad.
It was good delivery into the box. Bellincoso, unmarked. A little bit of a difficult opportunity. Just basically moving away, shuffling away from goal, trying to angle it in towards that far post. Good effort.
10 goals he has scored so far. Leading scorer of this tournament. So he's a danger man, and he's a little bit more intent in the second half from kitchee. Well, please Molina, who must have been very disappointed with his players' effort in the first half.
I think that would be a little bit of an understatement. Just see him initially, very stern look on his face. It is about maintaining that winning momentum. It's so important when you're basically playing in this stage of the tournament. Very, very small margin for error. But they have really lacked intensity in every single component of this game.
There does seem to be some renewed confidence in this kitchee side. A little bit now. Just need to keep their composure. Keep doing what they were doing in the first half.
Exactly. Just need to be a little bit more clinical with the chances they do create. Been a real handful up top to mark. Suleiman and Uwanaka, both athletic, comfortable on the ball. They're very quick and mobile also.
Well, he can't believe it, Uwanaka. He didn't feel there was any foul. Jeffrey Goh disagrees. He's got to be careful here. Remember, the referee, he's been pretty strict so far. Not going to brook any dissent.
There's absolutely nothing in that. If anything, it should be a handball for the kitchee player.
Here's Fernando Recio. Trying to play in Lo Kuan Yi.
Well, he's a very clever player, Lo Kuan Yi. He's been anticipating those balls in behind. He's quick. He gets to the ball very quickly. And then when he does, he's very comfortable on the ball as well. Just gets that first touch and looks to try and keep possession.
Just the second leg, or rather the first leg of the semi-finals on the 16th of September. And the second leg on the 30th, so a couple of weeks to get ready for that match for both sides. So they won't have any competitive football, so not going to be easy, especially if they have to travel to the Middle East. They'll probably want to go a little bit early, seeing as they haven't got any competitive football at the moment. Get there and acclimatise. Crowd not happy. Here's Ola Dodja. Trying to cut inside, gets the corner.
Well, it did well. Initially picking up the ball with his back towards goal. Looked after the ball, didn't give it away. Was able to manufacture his body into a position where he's facing the goal. Just trying to find that couple of yards where he can have a shot on target. This is that earlier opportunity. Just shimmied it away. May have been better just to have taken it another couple of yards further forward and have a shot with his left foot.
We'll just have to wait for the corner. There's Chung Kwok Ming. Looks to be in some trouble here. Well, he's got up, which is a good start. Moving very gingerly at the moment.
He's a very solid defender. He's working hard tonight. Kitchee have been overrun.
Well, he'll take no part in this corner here. Not the best of deliveries, I'm afraid, from Yoon Dek-ling. Chung comes back on. Remind you again that this was a revamped Lin Bin side that had lost plenty of players. They've had to totally change this team. 6 players made their debut in that first leg, so all things considered, 4-2, not the worst result in the world.
That's a good performance this evening in particular. Kitchee, with their attacking prowess, were dominant in the first leg. Ninh Binh can be very proud of their performance in this game. Still a long way to go. If they could snatch a second goal, that would seriously put Kitchee under enormous pressure.
Flick on there for Tales. Goalkeeper comes out quickly. Crowd have to get behind their side here. Not wanting to take any risks with the back pass, with the lurking Ola Dodja. And the first substitution of the game comes from Kitchee. Sam Kang To will replace Chung, who took that knock earlier.
Well, slightly more of a defensive substitution. Chung Kwok Ming, very defensive player, but can also play in midfield. Sam Kang To, very much an out-and-out defender.
Is that Molina setting out his stall then?
It certainly appears that way. Kitchee have absorbed plenty of pressure this evening, and they certainly haven't looked in control of this game.
interesting to know once again that there are no out-and-out strikers on either bench. By the way, just to let you know, there are only six substitutes on either bench as well, which is unusual. Instead of the usual 7. And of course, we'll get there, cleared away. Here's Uwanaka. Oh, that's a little bit of pressure, perhaps getting to them. Fernando's header back to Wang Zhongpeng, not making it easy for the keeper.
Rare mistake for Fernando at the back. He's had a really solid game. Wang Zhongpeng in goals, a couple of very good saves.
As far as kitchee are concerned, a bit of relief there. They didn't concede from that mistake.
Well, poor delivery on the corner. Really needs to beat the first defender. If anything, in those situations, you'd rather over-hit the ball than under-hit the ball.
Well, they're not clearing the lines at the moment. Beloncoso waiting for the ball. That comes down to Torres here.
Well, that's excellent pace. Simun Sub absolutely took off. Superb acceleration. Just to get his body in the way and then keep possession, absorb the foul.
He's not happy with the referee's decision. He felt didn't do very much wrong there, Jordi Torres.
Well, here's the early opportunity. Fernando with a paw. Header back towards his keeper.
Just a little less intensity, perhaps, than we saw in the first half from either side, particularly Ninh Binh. Haven't gotten to the right areas that they were finding in the first half. Perhaps a slight improvement as well from Kitchee. Still plenty of time in this game for Ninh Binh to create that turnaround. Remember, 2 more goals. Got about half an hour to do it. Always looking for the Nigerians up top. We're happy to pump it forward. Concedes a free kick, Le Van Tang.
Well, didn't seem to be too much in that.
Not sure how a man half the size of Beloncoso was able to bring him down so easily.
Well, I don't feel that was a foul. Okay, so he's just trying to shield the ball, lean in to his opponent. He's lost his balance and fallen over.
Fortuitous free kick then. Can they do something with this? Took a deflection. Gao Wen has also come on in the second half. Would have been a half-time substitution.
It was a decent strike. The fact that the wall's there was always going to, it was going to bounce off it.
One back here. That is a brilliant tackle from Sim. He's been absolutely everywhere, hasn't he? Stopping Jordi Torres.
Jordi's had minimal room this evening for him to weave his magic. The real key player for Kitchee, that creative influence through the middle of the park. He's been nullified completely in this game.
Ball falls kindly. Lamkawa, he's been quiet really in this game. And now without that regular kind of football, match endurance also surely must be an issue, PJ.
It's match-specific fitness. It is difficult to get just through basic pre-season training. You need that consistency of competitive games.
This game will get stretched as we progress through this game. As of now, Kitchee still in the driving seat. 4-3 in aggregate. Well, he felt that should have been a corner. Sam Kanto.
Good turn of pace by both players. Substitute Kanto coming on, just trying to take the ball to the byline and cut it back. Ninh Bin have been very solid at the back of the park. They haven't allowed any balls in behind. They haven't been turned around in defence.
There is one out-and-out forward for Ninh Bin on the bench, Pham Van Quen. I think he would probably make an appearance sooner rather than later, with a view to try and getting one of the 2 more goals that they require. Belancoso going up against Pham Van Quen, who's going to get the... Well, the referee thought about that, didn't he? He looked to be reaching for his pocket.
Well, Van Queen's been very impressive in defence. Very courageous, very aggressive. That's an excellent header. I think that's very soft foul. Showed incredible leap for his size as well.
There was space down that right-hand side. They clear the danger. Sam Kanto. It's a great ball through again. Lo Kuan Yi. That cross too close to the goalkeeper. But they found a bit of joy down their right-hand side.
Well, lovely link-up play. Lo Kuan Yi being released on this right-hand side. Took it to the line. Just aiming to cut it back. Ultimately is very well defended. It's been impressive in goals. Trumbu Nook hasn't had too much to do this evening. He's been confident nevertheless. A sign of a very good goalkeeper. Big passages of play when you're not involved, but when you are brought into play, being incredibly alert and risk-free.
Look where Belancoso is at the moment, playing down this right-hand side. You'd want him up there at the top, wouldn't you?
Well, he's really struggling up top. It's as simple as that. They haven't been able to release him on occasions. They haven't been able to get the ball into those wide areas and get some decent crosses into the box, which he loves.
Another great through ball. Belancoso advancing into the goal, into the penalty area. Oh, it's done beautifully. trying to chip the goalkeeper. And that's been the first save that he's had to make in this game. Tran Bugnyok saving off Lam Kawai.
Well, it's a great opportunity. Lam Kawai, excellent poise and composure on this tiny little chip. Tran Bugnyok, he was up to it.
This is a good little spell here for Kitchee. I'd have to say, if they do score, really will extinguish the hopes of Ninh Binh. So the substitution that has been made. Lane Lock Nam off for the forward that we spoke about, Pham Vinh Quen. They have to go for it now, PJ. It's becoming now or never, really, isn't it?
Very attacking substitution. It's a good time as well. Plenty of time left to go in this half.
It's come at a time when really Kitchee are beginning to put a bit more pressure on this side.
Well, that's an absolute monstrous challenge. Massive challenge. And his body on the line. Both players having a fairly solid go at each other.
So again, a poor delivery in. They're now winning these balls and these challenges. There's clearly a decent contingent of Ninh Binh fans in the crowd now, cheering every time the referee gives a decision their way. You'll need more than that, though. Another goal around now would make things very interesting for the final 20 minutes. Fernando clears. Only as far as Uwanaka. Great work from Jordi Tares. Slips that through to Bellincoso. Interception from Pham Van Quy. Read that well. That will certainly get a yellow card. And Suleiman Oladoja is brought down. Jung Kyung Jing with the booking.
Well, Suleiman, impressive piece of individual skill. Just being able to evade defender after defender, drawing the foul.
Asking the referee to take action, which he did. Under pressure there, conceding the corner. This is where they've got to make it count. They haven't had too many opportunities in this second half. Ninh Binh. The delivery of the free kicks and corners have been quite poor as well. Haven't got past the first man.
Haven't been as pinpoint as required. Again, that's another poor corner. Very, very frustrating.
Ball still with Ninh Binh here. They were very much clear-cut winners in the domestic league, rather Kitchee.
They've been solid. Impressive, not only from a overall results perspective, but they have been entertaining to watch also. Not so much this evening. They've found this evening's proceedings very, very challenging.
Well, we told you earlier about Ninh Binh's group stage. Kitchee, they had Myanmar's Nyapito Singapore's Tampines Rovers and Pune FC from India. And they pretty much negotiated the group with ease, winning 4, drawing 1 and losing 1. And certainly, PJ, knowing Tampines Rovers as well as you do, you are very disappointed with the way they conducted themselves in this tournament.
They struggled, unfortunately. So I find it a little bit difficult to juggle the domestic S-League campaign with this regional tournament.
Conceded a whopping 16 goals in 6 matches. Kitchee scoring 15 goals. They conceded only 5 in the group stages. That was what we found very impressive. Mola Doja. Oh dear, on the turn. With far more time than he thought. And Tran absolutely smashed that over.
A little bit fortunate, Tran Van Kong. The ball fell quite nicely to him. Just to line it up, just trying to volley. Just get it up and over the keeper into that far post corner. Just lacking on the overall execution. It's another reasonable opportunity for them.
Oh, he's done brilliantly well, Iwanaka. Here's Tran now. He's got the players in the box and he's got to have a better delivery, but I think that took a deflection. No, it didn't. Well, in that case, that's a poor cross then.
Again, very frustrating. Very frustrating. You work hard to get the ball into those danger areas. Tran Van Kong. So just struggling with cramps in his calf. It was a poor cross. It's immensely frustrating.
Another man who doesn't look particularly happy, Jose Molina. Give me the final whistle right now. Also looking pretty anxious, Nguyen Van Sai, former Vietnamese international defender, or midfielder rather. Spent his entire playing career with hometown club Nam Dinh before taking an assistant coaching position at the club when he retired 10 years ago at the relatively young age of 32. Been with Nam Dinh since 2009. Helped the club win promotion to V-League 1 that very season. He's been an assistant coach and caretaker coach for the Vietnamese national under 23 sides. Well, Mola Doja being told by the referee, be careful, as he clashed there with Fernando.
Well, he's used his hands here. You can see that. It didn't seem as harsh as they may have gone down. It looked as though there was just a fairly innocuous coming together of heads, actually. I think initially it's been a fierce competitor this evening. Solomon hasn't backed off whatsoever. I really enjoyed the overall self-belief that Ninh Binh continue to have.
There's been another substitution for Ninh Binh, the man who impressed us tremendously on the right-hand side in the first half, particularly Tran Van Quang, who seemed to be going off the boil. He's been replaced by Quang Dang Nyok. Should be a like-for-like change. But it's a pity as far as Ninh Binh are concerned that he couldn't maintain that standard.
He looked very sharp initially.
Just under 15 minutes left then for Ninh Binh to turn this around. The referee will card Sim for that one, and he's already got a yellow, so this could be a sending off, or was he resist the temptation? Look at Benicoso there, giving him a knowing look to the referee, and the crowd baying for that second yellow. How's he got away with that one?
Oh, you never like to see a player get sent off. I think the referee's made the right decision. Yellow card, I feel, would have been a little bit harsh. I mean, if it's a yellow card, it's a yellow card, regardless if they're already sitting on one. The referee shouldn't look at it from that perspective, but I do think it would have been slightly harsh.
Offside on Bellocoso. Now, will he get carded for time wasting?
Well,
that would be harsh, given the team behind.
Well, you'd imagine so.
Oh, I didn't hear it now, apparently.
Generally, you do see that happen. The whistle went, he had plenty of time to stop. If you're saying he didn't hear it, well, that's a bit strange.
It's not the biggest stadium in the world, is it? The Moorcock Stadium, to make it that difficult to hear the whistle.
No, the whistle went very, very quickly.
Remember, this is the man who was giving a knowing look to the referee a couple of minutes ago, asking him to card Sim. And yet he now gets a booking. If they're beginning to time waste now, it shows that they're just getting a little nervy. Again, Uwanaka has done brilliantly. This is onside. Oh, well, it's a late call. He can't believe it. Suleiman Oladoja. What is going on, referee? I think that was an early infraction. I don't think it was actually offside. I think he didn't play the advantage.
Well, Suleiman certainly cannot believe it. It was played in here. Didn't seem to be anything wrong with that. Difficult to see the linesman's flag.
There was a foul on Uwanaka.
That is a terrible decision by the referee.
That could well be a turning point here. And that's a pretty tame free kick, but PJ with 2-0 up with 10 minutes to go. It would have been a fantastic grandstand finish.
Well, the referee awarding the free kick, which it was a free kick, but what he failed to do was allow play to continue. He's actually disadvantaged Ninh Binh by awarding the free kick. Suleiman was in a one-on-one situation. He seemed to have rounded the goalkeeper as well. Highly likely that he would have put the ball into the back of the net.
Well, that's huge frustration right now for Ninh Binh, because they were looking good at 2-0. That's a big let-off here for Kitchee. Ten minutes then left in this match. And the final substitution made here. Lam Kwa Wai replaced by Robson Augusto Leung.
He's had a difficult game. Lam Kwa Wai, some excellent performances in the AFC Cup. It's been difficult for him this evening. Some fresh legs for the final 10 minutes.
Referee being very pedantic here, wants the free kick to be taken in the exact spot that he designated. Now there's a counter-attack on. Well, if they don't get back into V-League One, PJ, I think there are a few players here that might interest clubs in the region, surely.
It's been a good performance this evening, and overall in this cup competition it has been a good performance. Obviously many changes to their squad, but it really is a wonderful showpiece, the AFC Cup, where you are seeing teams from different countries playing in this regional club competition, and definitely the ability for players to move quite freely in this region. It's a great opportunity for the players to showpiece their skills.
Bellocoso. So they seem to have bought pretty well. They've revamped the squad. And yes, they may well be eliminated, but they've gone down fighting, haven't they?
They have. It's been a really impressive performance this evening. Still just under 10 minutes to go. Highly unlikely that they'll force their way to a win and win this tie. But there's been some telling instances in this game where you really do feel they could have gone 2-0 up, and when the momentum is with them and they've got Kitchee on the back foot, anything could have really happened.
Yeah, they've had their chances, and that's been the frustration for them. Here's Suleiman. Just needs a good finish, and he slipped at the crucial moment. Uwanaka, as that balloons over. He hardly has put a foot wrong tonight, the Nigerian.
Well, it fell very nicely for him. Just situated at that back post. It was fortunate for it to have bobbled its way over. All he had to do was just basically hit the target. There were plenty of defenders on the line. It would have been difficult for it to force its way through to the back of the net, but nevertheless, you can see his standing foot slip from underneath him.
And could they pay on the rebound? It's come off the woodwork. And that would have been it. Torres with the chance to put this game to bed. There is still hope. Very, very faint hope for Ninbin.
Well, good battling play by the substitute Kamto. You see Yordi just got his body behind it, used the inside of his foot, but hit it straight into the ground, bobbling up. Fortunate let off there for Ninbin.
That's probably a worse miss really than Uwanaka's a minute ago. Well, keeping us on the edge of our seats right till the very end. Pampan Kui with a small problem here. He's getting his thigh strapped at the moment. I know it's always easy to talk about ifs and buts, but they really have had some good chances, Ninbin, to get the goals tonight.
It's been a look back at this game and just look at certain moments and think, what if? I mean, it's one of the beautiful aspects of football. The margin for error is so small, but you look at a couple of those goal-scoring opportunities they've had, and they've had the better of the opportunities. It was a rare opportunity there for Kitchee. But given the way that this game has panned out, a 3-0 win to Ninbin was certainly highly unlikely prior to the game, but certainly could have happened as well.
Well, he's only been on the pitch for a couple of minutes. Robson Leung cops a yellow card. Studs up challenge.
It did seem to be a little bit naughty. A long way away in the commentary booth. It's looked a lot harsher than what it was. He's gone to ground. He's definitely got to the ball first. A yellow card again, for me, that's a little bit harsh. Referees, in many instances, are very quick to award a free kick against a player going to ground for a sliding tackle if their studs seem to be even slightly raised. It's very hard to do a slide tackle without raising your studs, to be honest.
7 yellow cards so far in this game, and a decision that could well have cost Ninbin a second goal in this match.
Well, this game does not warrant 7 yellow cards. It's been an intense game. It's been played in really good spirit.
He's just been fairly pedantic, hasn't he?
Highly pedantic, exactly. Exactly.
You don't want the referee to be playing such a big role in matches like this, and it's been played in pretty good spirit. We've enjoyed it. It's been good intensity, as you said.
It's been great. There's
nothing really untoward.
Nothing, absolutely nothing. Just both teams having a really good go at each other.
There he is again. Uwanaka, he's so bright every time he's on the ball. Finds his Nigerian compatriot, but he felt he was yanked back there, Suleiman. Referee unmoved. On this left-hand side, Belancoso will just hold on to the ball. Fernando. The substitute, Kamto. Look at where Uwanaka is. And that's great to see as well, isn't it? From the foreign players, they're grafting, they're working hard, having your striker, your foreign striker, coming all the way back almost to the corner flag to help out. That's got to be encouraging.
He has worked hard in defence.
Fernando coming forward, he felt that was handball. It's going to be another booking. Pamvankui. 8th yellow card of the match.
It's like, I feel like I'm saying every yellow card's a bit harsh, but there's not an awful lot that I could have actually done there. Yes, his arm's there, but he hasn't moved his arm towards the ball to block it.
He's right next to him, isn't he?
Exactly. It's... better stop now.
Behave, PJ. Free kick here for Kitchee. This is gobbling up valuable seconds for them. Trying to be a little clever. There's no one up top at the moment. They get the goal kick, they want to get this up top field as fast as they can, but really at this point, PJ, it's probably too late now to turn this around, but got to give credit where credit is due to Nidbin tonight. They have entertained from the very start. I think surprised many people.
They've approached this game in a very positive fashion. It's always going to be a very difficult task to overturn that 4-2 deficit.
Look at the number of players in the box at the moment for Nidbin. They are attacking well now. Sim is having a little go at the referee. He's got to be careful. Uwanaka took a bit of a knock earlier. Doesn't look to be 100%. Coming up to 90 minutes then. Slow it down, Belancoso is saying. Hold on to the ball, and that is a massive sign of respect and concern for what Nidbin have done tonight.
They've been surprised, Kitchee. Very much an underwhelming performance by Kitchee. We've seen so many impressive results and some outstanding play by them in this AFC Cup competition. This evening has not been one of them, but they've battled hard. Sometimes it doesn't matter the preparation or the training that you do. Sometimes it just doesn't happen for you out on the pitch, but what they have done is they've just continued to battle away. Very fortunate on occasion.
Robson Leung. Kamto. Yordi Taris. Now they're going to try and get this up top. Uwanaka. Here is again the Nigerian. Suleiman Oladoja working his way through. Good bit of defending. Fernando here. Surely offside. Across to Uwanaka. Suleiman. 3 players around him. Beloncoso holding on to the ball here. Oh, now Sim. The referee has to be careful, and it looks like the captain of Ninh Binh has to go to the sin bin. He's all done for right at the end of this game. A sign of petulance from the captain. He was already treading a fine line earlier.
A sign of frustration. He's had a very solid game this evening, really led by example. Sunu Sab, you can just see he's just a little bit too aggressive to get to the ball. Look at referee again. Probably the free kick certainly didn't warrant a yellow card, but the reaction really gives the referee absolutely no choice. That's a deserved yellow card, and regardless if you're already sitting on one, you deserve to be sent off, unfortunately.
He wasn't going to get carded for the initial foul. He just showed his frustration, and it didn't really matter. I suppose at the end of the day, it's all academic. Another yellow card being shown. This referee has certainly had an impact on this game.
He's looking around the room on his piece of paper.
Sang Kam To with the booking. Well, there you have it. It has been a backs-to-the-wall performance at times for Kitchee. Fernando with a big smile on his face, but if they look back at this game, there wasn't much to be happy about, really, because they were under the cosh from almost the very beginning. You've got to hand it to Ninh Binh, who put in a superb performance and fell just short, but they gave Kitchee an almighty scare, PJ.
They did. A very impressive performance. They can be very proud of the way that they played tonight, coming into this game with that 4-2 deficit. They worked very hard. They played with a really thorough self-belief that they could force their way back into this tie, and turned out to be an excellent performance. They deserved to get at least the 2-0 scoreline, potentially even squeezing that third goal. Could have changed the whole complexion of this game, but at the end of the day, Kitchee forced their way through.
Well, we saw one almighty fight back earlier in the day. Couldn't quite do it in this match. The final score here at the Mokok Stadium, it's Kitchee 0, Ninh Binh 1. Overall, Kitchee win 4-3. Thanks for joining us. See you again soon.